Hey loves, welcome back or welcome to my channel. I'm Nisa and I am so excited for today's video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my own acrylics at home. Today we're actually going to be doing a fill-in instead of a full set. And yeah, I'm super excited to show you guys how I like to do my nails on my own at home. As you can see, my nails are pretty grown out. It's definitely time for a fill-in. So, this is actually only my third time doing my nails at home myself. So, bear with me. This is very beginner level, and there's probably things that I am doing wrong or I could do better. But if you guys have any tips for me, you can leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to learn some new ways of doing things, if it's easier, less time consuming. So the first step I'm doing here is just filing away at the gel polish that I have on top of my acrylics, just so that I can get that first initial layer off, because it's really smooth. So I like to do this step before I go in with my nail drill, just because I find that it works a lot better once you have a rougher textured surface to start going in with your nail drill. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm just gonna do it to each nail. Nothing too perfect, and sorry that I got out of frame here. It was kind of really difficult to stay in frame while doing this. So please bear with me. There is a couple of times that I wasn't looking at the viewfinder enough and I got a little bit out of frame, but I swear a majority of the video I am definitely in frame for you guys. But yeah, I'm just gonna do that and then we'll be back for the next step. Okay, so here is what it should look like after you do that initial file of the gel polish. I also forgot to mention I did do my thumbs off camera, just because the weird angle that it was for me to get it on camera. So I did do my thumbs off camera. This is just what it looks like when I filed away at the top layer of the gel polish, and you can see a clear difference between the two. I'm also only going to do one hand on camera and then the other hand I'll do off camera, because if I do both on camera, this video is going to be entirely too long and I don't want you guys to have to suffer through that. So now I'm just taking my nail drill, and I have the manicure and pedicure station nail drill, and I got this drill from my local Sally's beauty supply store. I am in love with this drill. It was super affordable. I believe it was only $40 to $45, and it comes with 7 different heads, which I think is amazing. This drill works really well. You can use it cordless or you can plug it up and use it with the cord. However, what I have definitely noticed with this drill is that if you use it without the cord, it is definitely not as powerful as it is with the cord. It still works, but it just doesn't work as well, and it'll take you longer to file your nails down with it off the cord. So I prefer to use it on the cord, and I just have the regular kind of drill bit on it right now. I'm not sure what the different names of these are, and I threw the box away, so forgive me, but it's just the standard first level one that you use that has the most grit to it, and will just pretty much take off all of your gel polish. And yeah, I'm just gonna go in and get the rest of the gel polish off. That is gonna be pretty much my step 1 goal, is to get absolutely all of the gel polish off of my nails, and then I like to pretty much go from there. I do apply quite a bit of pressure when doing this step, just because if you don't apply any pressure at all, at least with this drill and the way that I do it, I find that it just takes a lot longer. So I definitely like to apply some pressure. I'm more careful though as far as not applying too much pressure once I start to get closer to my cuticle line and like the edges of my fingers, just so I don't nick myself. But honestly, I don't have like a super, sophisticated way of doing this. I kind of just do it until the nail polish is completely off of my nails. So that's what I'm gonna do here. So this is what it looks like once I get all of the polish off. As you can see, that is a major difference from where we started, and it's not perfect by any means as far as the state of the acrylic or the shape, but all of the polish is off, which is a great step one. Now I'm taking this like pointed nose, like angled drill bit. I don't know what it's called, but I like it for more like fine-tuning some of the details, such as underneath my nails. I'm someone who definitely hates when underneath my nails looks kind of bulky or anything like that, or just dirty. And I also like to give it that like fresh look even when I am getting a fill-in. Even when I used to go to the salon, honestly, it used to annoy me sometimes because depending on what nail salon I went to, like some nail techs just don't even think about the bottom of the nails, and just like even when you get a fill, cleaning it up. So I love this little bit that this drill comes with, because it's literally perfect for all of those like small areas, and I really like it just for like getting rid of that old crusty looking grown out nail underneath and making it look a lot more seamless and crisp. If you're someone who likes to keep your natural nails kind of long underneath your acrylics, then maybe you want to skip this step, but I like my nails to look really uniform and clean on top and underneath. So that's what I'm doing here, just using this little gadget to clean up the underneath of my nails. So now I am taking my acrylic powder. This is the ASP, which stands for All Season Professional Bonding Acrylic Powder, and I like mine in the color clear, which is a transparent color. They also have it in pink and opaque white, I believe. But I like the clear, just very basic and simple, and I like for my colors to lay on top of a nice clean base. And I'm also going to take my ASP Bonding Acrylic Liquid. This is the monomer that I am using. I chose to use this monomer just because this is the same brand as the acrylic powder, and then I have just my little acrylic powder glass holder, and I got all of this from Sally's, just in case y'all are wondering where I got this stuff from. I'm sure it would be cheaper to get some of this stuff off of Amazon, but I am just so impatient, and even though I have Amazon Prime, so everything comes within 1 to 2 days, I'm still super impatient. So yeah, pretty much everything here is from Sally's, and if anything is not from Sally's, I would definitely let you guys know what those things are. So I'm just setting that off to the side for right now, because we have a couple of steps before we actually get into laying down the acrylic. So what I am going to be using to actually apply the acrylic is this brush, and this is a sable brush is what it's called, and it's oval number 5. It's by the brand Winning Nails, and you can find this at Sally's as well. This is more of a pointed, small tapered brush. And yeah, I used the big brush the first time that I tried to do my acrylics, and honestly that was one of the biggest mistakes. It was so difficult and so hard for me to pick up the right bead, so I definitely would suggest getting a smaller tapered brush like this one. And this is what the brush looks like. Now you can get a better idea of what it looks like. So I'm just taking this cuticle pusher and I am pushing back my cuticles. You want to be a little firm but not too harsh when you are doing this. You'll know when you're pushing just a little bit too rough or hard for your nails, but you definitely want to make sure that you push them back and make sure that you get all of that dead cuticle out of the way so you can maximize your nail bed. And doing this step will definitely give you more of that salon result as far as the overall look of your nails. So after that, I just went ahead and washed my hands with some soap and water, and now I'm going to take my ASP Prep and Clean dehydrant. This is a dehydrator, and you're going to apply this only to your natural nails, so just where your acrylics have grown out. And you want to make sure you don't skip this step and you apply this just because your natural nails have natural produced oils, and those oils sitting on your nails can make it difficult for the acrylic powder to stick to your nails properly. So definitely, to ensure that you have a really strong foundation laid, you don't want to skip this step and you just want to apply that. And then after that, I'm going in with my ASP Acidless Primer. This is going to go on your natural nails just like we applied the dehydrator. This is just the base primer for the acrylic and the monomer to lay. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm not entirely sure what all this does, but I know that I skipped this step the first time I did my nails, and the acrylic definitely was just not as strong in my opinion, and it didn't last as long as it did the second time when I did use this. So yeah, I would just recommend you not to skip this step. So now I just laid out some paper towels to be able to wipe off some of the excess while I am going in and filling in my nails. So I just have the monomer and my acrylic powder, and now I am just going to go ahead and get my brush saturated with the monomer. I just like to let it really soak the first time, and then you're going to want to take one edge and really wipe off the excess, and then go in to grab your bead, and you want to have a small to medium-ish size bead. And I'm just gonna go ahead and place that and slowly try and smooth it out around my cuticle line without getting on top of my cuticle, just as close as possible without touching. And it's important to wipe off the excess and dip into your monomer in between like strokes and pats, just because you don't want any of the acrylic powder to set into your brush, because it'll definitely ruin your brush and you will not be able to use it for a proper application. I definitely did that the first time around and my brush was destroyed. Another tip is to make sure you don't apply too much the first time. You can always add, but you can't take away once it has hardened. So I definitely would go in with less rather than overdoing it. And I am really not the best at all at, laying acrylic whatsoever. I'm still learning how to get the perfect bead without it being overly watery or too dry and powdery. You really just have to kind of eyeball it and feel it out. If the bead is just slipping all around your nail and kind of like dripping, that's definitely a sign that that bead has way too much monomer in it. And if your bead has a lot of monomer in it, it can be a really bad thing, because that means that the ratio is going to be off and your acrylic is not going to be as strong as it should be. Therefore, it definitely will be susceptible to breaking and cracking a lot easier. So yeah, I'm just taking my time, going in, like I said, with pretty small to medium sized beads, and I'm not rushing the process or anything like that. I'm going in with patting motions at first just to get it kind of laid where I want it to lay, and then I dip into my monomer after I tap off some excess, and I go back in and I define it with more swiping motions, as you can see right here. And yeah, like I said, I'm not the best, definitely still at a very beginner level, but you want to take your time and you'll know when it's enough. But another tip is to make sure that the base of your nails, so like closer to your cuticle, should be more tapered, and then it should be very dome-like towards the middle of your nail, and then taper back out at the end. So as you can see, I think it's called the apex, you can see I have like that bump right there. That is good. That means that it is going to be strong. That is where the bulk of your nail should be and the bulk of your acrylic should lay. So that is a good thing when you have that shape going on. And now I am going to do the same to the next finger. Another tip that I have for you guys is whenever you go in to pick up your acrylic bead, make sure you just commit to that bead. Don't try and like go to grab it but then you don't finish your swipe, if that makes sense, because it will get on both of the sides of your brush and it'll cause a really big mess that's going to be really difficult to clean up and get off of your brush, and it won't be a really clean, simple application. So yeah, I definitely would say once you go in and dip your brush into the acrylic powder, just stick with it and don't make your swipes too long or anything like that when you dip into the powder. And also don't dig your brush very deep, just use the very tip of your brush to grab your bead. So yeah, I am literally just going to continue to repeat this process. I feel like you guys have seen it enough in real time to kind of understand how I like to do it. So I'm just going to speed through me doing this process to the rest of my nails. And so here you can just see the difference between what it looks like when you fill them in versus what they look like before the fill-in. My pinky and my ring finger I still need to fill. So this is what it looks like when all of my nails are filled. It's not too bulky but not very thin, and it looks a million times better. You can definitely tell that they are filled in. And now we're going to move on to the part where we start to file down and get the shape of the nails perfected, because right now they're looking very much all over the place and they don't really have a defined shape to them. I really like more of a square coffin shape, like kind of a mix between the two. So that's what we're gonna work on right now. So I'm going to grab my drill and I'm gonna change out the drill bit back to that original regular standard bit, and I'm gonna start going in and filing away at the acrylic that we just laid, just to get it nice and smooth and symmetrical as possible throughout all of my nails to define its shape, and just to make sure that we don't have it super bulky by the cuticle. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do here. I feel like this part is one of the most time consuming parts about doing your nails. I just feel like it's so time consuming because it honestly is one of the most, if not the most important step to doing your own acrylics, because this is really where you really define your nails shape. And this is where, if you don't spend enough time on it and you're not patient enough with it, your nails can definitely look very amateur and like very DIY. And you know, I mean, girl, we are definitely doing a DIY over here, but that doesn't mean it has to look DIY, honey. So I encourage you guys to really take your time on this step and not rush it, because look at that. That already looks a million times better. I went ahead and finished all of my nails, and I washed my hands off just to get some of that excess acrylic powder off of my hands, and this is what we're looking like. This is before I go in with my nail file and actually go in and define all of the edges of my nails to give it that more defined, crisp shape. Now I'm going to take this white drill bit and I am going to go over all of my nails. This drill bit is a lot more smooth and soft, so it goes over top of the acrylic and makes it a lot smoother of a texture. It takes out any of those like gritty bumps or lumps or anything like that, and it really just gives it an overall nice smooth finish. So I'm just gonna go over all of my nails just to buff over them a little bit and give it more of a nice sleek texture. Now I'm going in with my regular nail file, and I'm just gonna go in and start to really define and bring out this coffin shape in my nails. This is super different for everyone because everyone is so different and specific on how they like their shape. So what I do and my technique on how I like to do it may not work for you and your specific shape. But for me and the coffin shape, it really is all about defining a nice slanted angle on each side. And I like to keep some of the squareness because I just find that that kind of shape looks really good on my fingers. And so I'm just going in on the sides and making sure that I'm defining it, and also going towards the end and making sure that it's nice and straight and just like really crisp. I don't like when it's too like rounded when I'm shaping them, just because I know that when I put the gel polish over it, it's gonna round out the edges just a tad bit. So in this process, I like to make sure that they are as crisp as possible, like all of the corners and edges. So that's what I'm doing here. So after all the shaping is done, this is what it looks like. I went ahead and washed my hands with some soap and water, and I love the way that the shape came out. Tell me guys what you think in the comments below, but I am obsessed. This is a side-by-side of what it looked like before the fill and what it looks like now before we go ahead and polish our fill. And I just love it, and I definitely feel like you can just see the difference and the growth between both of my hands and my last application, and how much I've already grown throughout just this whole process of doing my own nails. I think it looks really good. I'm happy with it. What do you guys think? So now I'm going to start the painting process, and I'm gonna first go in with the ASP Soak Off Faster base coat, and this is gonna be the foundation for our polish. So after I have all of my nails coated with the base coat, I am going to take my nail dryer, and I'm not exactly sure what brand this is. My sister actually gifted it to me for Christmas, and I know she got it off of Amazon, so I would definitely ask her for the link to this specific one, and I will have it in the description box link below for you guys. But I love this nail dryer. It works super well, super fast, and there's 3 different settings on it, which is really nice. So for the first polish we're going to use today, this is the ASP gel polish in the color Rose Gold, and I am obsessed with this color. It's super pretty. I've used this one the first time I ever tried to do my nails at home, and I really liked it. So we're going to go in with this one. Now, what I have learned over the couple of times that I've done my nails is that with gel polish, you want to make sure that you're doing thin coats instead of super thick coats. You want to go in with more thinner ones, and you can build it up a little bit with a couple of coats. But I tried to rush and like get it super opaque the first go around when I did my nails, and it kind of made my nails really bulky, and it took away from all that work that I did on shaping them up. So I definitely would recommend going in with thinner coats and doing 2 to 3 thin coats rather than trying to do 1 to 2 super thick coats. So yeah, we're just gonna do each finger and then put it under the nail dryer. And so this is what it looks like after the first coat has been cured. Now we're going to go in with the Beetles gel polish in the color 466. This is a glitter polish, and my plan is to do 2 coats of this glitter polish on top of the first color that we put down. And this was just me making like a more custom color. It was just what I was looking for. I wanted some of the small sparkles that was in the first ASP Rose Gold, and then I wanted the larger chunky sparkles that are in this polish. So I decided to just stack them. And this is what it looks like after the 2 coats of that glittery polish on top of the Rose Gold. And now we're gonna go in with our gel like top coat, and I'm not sure what the brand of this top coat is because it's kind of rubbed off. And this is the final product. I am obsessed. I think it looks so good. We completely transformed my nails and we did it on a budget at home ourselves, so I would consider this a win. As you guys can see, the side-by-side results, we did a fill-in and a full reshape and some good old-fashioned polish, and I think it looks so good. Tell me what you guys think down below in the comments, and if you guys have any tips or tricks that could help me get even better or make this process a little bit easier for me, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. So definitely don't forget to click the like button if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would really love for you guys to join me on my journey here on YouTube, and until the next video, I'll see you all. Bye, loves.